Hello, everybody. We are in Naples today. What's going on, man?
Nothing much, brother. Nothing much. Just 2020 is off to a good start. We got a lot of
great start.
a lot of exciting things going on.
Yes. Mainly the thing we've been talking about, the homeownership concierge that we talked about last time.
Big.
We're getting very, very close to launch. Now, having said that, even though it's not completely launched, everybody that gets under contract with us at this point or that is under contract will have this by the time they close. So super exciting. Tune in.
Exciting.
We're gonna put a lot of content based about that. So you'll learn more. And look, if you're in the real estate industry, you need to learn about this because it's really gonna be just the most badass experience for anybody out there.
And by the way, I have a speaking engagement next Wednesday night at 6 o'clock at Winged Foot Title in downtown Fort Myers, where I'm going to be talking about the system and
Saludos.
yeah, not only just talking about the system to utilize it for me, but just kind of the concepts behind it and why there's so much value to it. So primo. So if you want, that's open to whoever. Next Wednesday night, Winged Foot Title, downtown Fort Myers. I think it's on MLK over by the courthouse.
Free food.
6 p.m. Free food.
Score.
I believe free booze. Presentation will be an hour and a half or so, and I'd love to have you there.
Awesome.
But dude, let's talk about big announcement today in the credit scoring world.
Big announcement.
You want me to
Yeah,
jump on it?
Please go ahead.
So they made every couple of years they call it modernization. I don't know if credit scoring being modernized is an oxymoron. I think that's a jumbo shrimp thing. But anyway, they made some changes to the credit scoring model as of today. And the way it works is this now. Basically, they are either going to reward you or penalize you for the amount of the debt that you carry. If you run up your credit cards, but your history is that you pay them either completely off or almost completely off, it could boost your score as much as what they're saying, 20, 30 points, we'll see. By the same token, on the other hand, if your debt load's increasing from month to month, your credit score could drop by as much as 20 or 30 points.
And it makes sense because look, we all know that having your credit score, your credit cards, and your credit usage very, very close to that max limit hurts your credit score a lot. So a lot of times people, they don't carry a balance, or they carry a balance, but they pay it off at the end of the month. And then if we pull the credit when they have that balance, that credit is not a real representation of what their real credit should be.
Yeah.
So I think it's a positive change.
It is a positive change, and it was necessary. I know you've got me on the point staying with the Chase cards.
Yes.
And
credit score down.
Yeah, what's up? After years of not carrying a dime in credit card debt, on any given point now I have quite a bit, but again, I pay it off every month.
Right.
So people like me, which I got to be honest, people that do that, I would argue, are incredibly responsible with their credit
because they're actually utilizing it.
Yeah.
Properly.
Right. So anyway, so that change is happening.
Now, just to clarify, the change that is not happening is you still need to make sure that you keep those balances down at the end of the month. It doesn't mean that it's always a good idea to pay off your balance and all that, okay, and pay it on time. So, yeah.
Next thing, I want to talk about a client I spoke to yesterday. So I spoke to a client yesterday. Interesting cat. So he's in Jersey, retiring in the not too distant future, trying to set up some passive income. So he, makes a good living up north, but, he wants to buy 4 to 6 properties, multifamily, 3-4 units, and was concerned about qualifying. And I said, look, the way we do this is easy. I said, we could give you credit for 75% of the projected rent, even if it's vacant. And we could use that to offset the payment. So in a particular property he was looking at, the 75% of the projected rent came out to $2,450 a month, and the mortgage payment was $2,600 a month. So it was give or take a wash.
Yeah.
Moved up a couple of decimal points there, but that was it. And he was floored. He's like, "This is amazing." He said, "So," he goes, "I thought I was going to have to float the payments on 4, 5, 6 properties. I mean, we're talking $2 million, $2.5 million worth of real estate." And I'm like, no, not at all. He's like, oh, man, this is awesome. So just know, if you are considering building up a real estate investment, thing, or even if you're just looking to buy one property, we can use the projected rent. Now, if you have a history of being a landlord, there's some additional benefits, but it's not necessary.
Right, and this also applies for multifamily homes where you're actually moving into the house as well.
Yes.
So if you're moving into a duplex or a fourplex or a triplex, we can use up to 75% of the other units that you're not occupying. So this is pretty standard across the board. I think it's a great way for people to be able
Absolutely.
to qualify. It's like you say, it's a great way for somebody to, start a real estate portfolio, which, at the end, it can be very generous when you retire. So keep that in mind. Now, that's on the conventional and government side of things. When it comes to other types of loans, we do have cash flow investor loans and things like that, where you really don't have to show any more income other than showing that the property can pay for itself. So we have options, even if and just saying, this gentleman qualified on that on our regular loans, but even if he couldn't have qualified, he would have qualified with our investor cash flow loans.
Absolutely.
So we definitely have options. If you have the down payment and you want to buy an investment property, there's always different opportunities there.
Absolutely. So let's segue into what should be getting onto everybody's mind now, which is
taxes.
It is
and
tax
speaking of
season.
rentals and speaking of all these things, look, it's so important that you really plan ahead when you do your taxes. I know that when you're doing your taxes, the one thing that you're thinking about is, I don't want to pay the government a lot of money.
Yeah.
I don't want to pay a lot of taxes.
I want to get the biggest refund.
Right. And that's fine. Just understand that the way that you do your taxes will affect the way that whether you can qualify or not for a potential big purchase, like a home, for example.
Look, I remember when I was going, when I bought my last house, I was finishing up my divorce, which was a multi-year process. And I remember filing my tax returns and thinking to myself, okay, if I end up with this kind of an alimony payment and I take my normal deductions, I'm not going to qualify for a house.
Right.
And I didn't know, like, there was some uncertainty in my financial world at that time, and I ended up opting to not take, I forget, $20,000 or $30,000 worth of deductions. And I said that to somebody once, and they said, "Well, are you allowed to do that?" I said, "The IRS will never complain about me paying more taxes."
Right.
But I opted to not take those, to make sure, like, hey, if it goes down this way, I could still buy a house. As it turned out, it didn't go down that way. But regardless, I left my doors open.
Great story.
Yeah, no. But the point is that we thought this through in advance. So
Right.
if you have a rental property and you're really excited to write everything off and show huge losses, that's all well and good in the moment, but long term it's going to hurt you.
Yeah.
So we got to be careful. And look,
And for the most part, it will follow you for the next 2 years.
yeah,
So it's not a matter of, I'm not going to buy anything for the next 12 months, but then after that I'm going to buy. Well, this will probably follow you. I mean, we're still looking, for a lot of self-employed people, we're still looking at taxes for 2017 now.
yeah, 17 and 18.
So, look, it's important to plan ahead. We don't charge anything to have a conversation with you on the front end of things. I always welcome people, especially if they're self-employed and they're thinking of buying the next 12 months, to come with us and,
Hey, George.
and for us to take a look at their taxes and be able to help them, to position them in the best possible way for them to be able to qualify. And look, the worst part of this is that a lot of times it's not even a matter of declaring more income.
No.
It's just a matter of doing the taxes properly and putting those deductions where they actually should be.
Absolutely.
Things like depreciation, things like business miles. All those are things that are not going to affect you as much as something like just other deductions, for
Right.
example.
Yeah, and that's the thing. Like,
Or uniforms. Your story with the with the firefighter that.
yes, yeah. We did a loan once for somebody. It was a fireman. The accountants told him that he could write off like $10,000 a year in uniform expense, which obviously firemen don't pay for their own uniforms. But that uniform expense literally killed a loan. And look, and that's why, like, the right way to do it is this, okay? Your accountant, and us work together as a team to balance it. Like, people have to understand that all the financials are connected. So if your tax guy is going down his path and your mortgage guy is going down his path, and they're not, and maybe your financial advisor is going down the third
Yeah.
path, look, you got to put everything together as a team, and there's a lot of value in this. Now, keep in mind, if you live up north and you're thinking about moving down here, with the changes in the cap now for the state income tax and property tax being at 10 grand, lots of people in lots of tax states up north, there's a lot of advantages to declaring Florida your domicile and bypassing that.
Yeah, absolutely.
So, so look, if you are self-employed, if you have rental properties, if you have lots of write-offs in one way, shape, or form, before the tax, once the tax is sent to the IRS, that's it.
Yes.
Okay, so before they're submitted, after preparation, before submission, let's have a conversation.
Yeah, send it to us.
Yeah.
Let us take a look at it. Let us qualify you based on that, and then you can make any decision you want to make. But it will save you a lot of grief, and in the long term, it will save you a lot of money.
Yeah.
Because sometimes it's not even just a matter of qualifying or not. Because like I said before, we have a lot of weird loans right now. We have a lot of more creative financing. It's a matter of putting you in the best program for you.
Absolutely.
So
Absolutely.
it's not just, well, I know I can qualify regardless.
Yeah, and please understand too, it's, you know, when I was talking to them yesterday, those clients, she said, well, even if the income's bad, even if the income doesn't work, we have lots of assets, so that helps it, right? And I explained to her that, you know, one of the things that happened with the crash was the government said, look, people getting mortgages that they can't afford to pay back is a major contributing factor to the crash. Obviously it was. So they introduced the ATR laws, which is ability to repay. And I was explaining to her that with the, you know, with these laws being put in place, what's up, Art? With these laws being put in place, the ability to repay is kind of trumps almost everything else.
Yeah.
So if you have $30 million in the bank, you're borrowing 200 grand, and we can't overcome the ATR laws, the loan's not going to work.
Right.
All right. Now there's bank statement programs and other stuff out there,
Yeah.
but you're paying a higher interest rate, and maybe you're paying more
Bigger
closing
down payment,
costs, etc. So, so look, just be smart about your taxes. Understand this is going to stick with you for a couple of years.
Yeah, and then finally, I know we're tight on time, but I think it's worth mentioning the great run that we're having in the bond market.
Yeah.
The rates are
strong.
The rates are in a good place right now. We just seem to have broken a new ceiling of resistance, which is a good thing. Hopefully we stay above that line. And look, I mean, the stock market, it's hanging there too.
Yeah.
You know, we're expecting a pullback, but we haven't really seen a big
We've
pullback.
not.
So life is good right now. Rates are low. The stock market is up. I mean,
Let's
hopefully things stay this way, right?
knock on some wood, brother. Knock on some wood. So, so look, just know that we are monitoring those things for you, and you know, throughout the process to make sure we can save our
Absolutely.
clients every nickel we can. And you know, look, I think the overwhelming majority of loan officers don't understand the mortgage-backed security bond market, don't understand how to advise their clients properly. And I think that could cost a lot of money down the road. So
It does.
if you're talking to somebody and your rate's already locked and you're looking to get a second opinion, reach out to us, because with this improvement in the
Chances are
bond market,
it's
we
lower
can probably
now.
save
Yeah.
people some money. Always good to get a second opinion.
I mean, we're seeing in the past 2 weeks, it's only gone, you know, lower and lower.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
guys, if you have any questions, let us know, and we will see you next Friday.
All right, everybody, take care. Have a good one.